Hey there. Let's take a look at the great American artist, Jacob Lawrence. Now, hopefully you've already taken a look at this picture here called Forward. And it's a picture with Harriet Tubman right here. And looks like she's trying to push somebody forward, all right? So what's happening here? What do you think is happening here? Well, it's telling the story of the Underground Railroad. We have people that are going somewhere and they don't know where they're going. So they look frightened, they look scared, and obviously, with his eyes being covered, he can't tell where he's going. However, with her holding a gun in her hand, you realize that this is a dangerous trip. Also, with the little baby, you realize that, hey, even little kids are making this dangerous trip too and going forward. So, one thing I want you to realize about Jacob's Lawrence's work is that he always uses just blocks of color. You don't see any shading. It's solid white, it's solid pink, it's solid brown, solid tan, solid blues. There's not very much shading at all whatsoever. And I want you to concentrate on too. We're just going to have blocks of color. We're not going to have much shading at all. So I also want you to notice that with Lawrence, that all of his pictures have a basic shape for his people to fall into most of the time. And I'll show you what I mean. If you see their head and feet, that's usually what the block will show. So let's take a look at it. Here, if you notice that the people form, you go by the head and go down by the feet. What shape do you see there? I see a rectangle. Okay, that's pretty good. So let's go to another one. Oh, come on. Oh. All right, here's another one of his. And I want you to take a kind of look at the background, because a lot of times his background has something to do with what he's talking about here. But just notice the people in here. So what shape do you see in this one? So yeah, look at the heads. You don't see everybody's feet, but look at the heads. Yep, it's a circle. That's pretty cool, huh? All right, so let's look at the next one. Here's another one. So what shape do you see on here? Come on. There we go. All right. Yeah, go by the heads. You see a triangle. And for the last one, let's take a look at this one. Now here, you only don't see very many people, but you do see the feet of all the people here, so let's take a look at it. What shape do you see on this one? Yeah, look at this. Go down to the feet. And you see a triangle. So when you do your picture, I want you to draw the basic shape that you want to use for your people or figures that are in there. And use a basic shape to set them up. Okay? Now, when we talk about the background, I want you to realize that I want you to add a background, and we're going to pull something from your history. He always pulls everything from his is from history. So this happens to be from a scene from his younger days in Harlem. Once again, this was part of the migration series from when the black people moved from south up to the north. And then this is also another scene from his youth about growing up in New York. So you notice some of the things that were prevalent in the background here of his apartment here. There's pictures of people right there, a record player, and plants. You see his hat, and then you see that You also see a cigarette there, so that was probably a pretty big thing for when he's growing up. That many of the people around him smoked, which is kind of fallen out of fashion nowadays. But you see, this is part of the scenery that he associated with growing up in New York. And I want you to do the same thing. Isn't that a beautiful picture? Look at these bright colors. These blocks of colors. Look at these blocks of colors. Can you really see any details on their faces? No, there's not a whole lot of detail. We're not going to worry about detail on ours. But let's do our Jacob Lawrence pictures.